What's going on, everyone? So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I fix curb rash. Now there's multiple ways on how to go about this, but I'm just going to show you the way I do it. As you can see, I have a few sets of these wheels. These are good, these don't need to be fixed. This one is all sanded down and ready to go. No more curb rash, needs to be painted. I need to do this one, I need to do about 6. So these right here, pretty bad. This one is pretty clean, but as you can see down here, it has some. So I have a total of 10 of these wheels, and only about 2, which are those 2 right there, I think maybe 3 are good. But I'm just going to show you on this wheel how to do it. I should mention that when you are fixing curb rash, you're going to need to respray your powder coat or refinish your wheels. So I know that's a thing that people don't really want to do, and they think that you can just fix the curb rash and throw it on your car and call it a day, which you can. But the thing is, the way you fix curb rash is you get sandpaper, really coarse sandpaper, and you literally just sand down the curb rash, which will take away the finish on the edge, and it'll just look weird if your wheel is, let's say, gunmetal, and then you have a silver shiny lip around the edge, which, I mean, you could do it, but it would just look a little weird. So what you would have to do is sand down the whole entire wheel and then respray the whole entire wheel in order to fix this. Another thing you could do is simply tape off the wheel and just paint the lip, but what I've noticed is usually it doesn't come out that nice, because even if you get the manufacturer's paint, let's say these wheels, they're gunmetal gray, and you get the exact paint that this company used, it's technically the same color and everything, but this paint has faded over the years that, you know, that this wheel's been out in the sun. So if you mask it off, then this is going to be a lighter shade, and this is going to be nice and bright and shiny, and it's just going to look off. So that's why I say it'd be better to just paint the whole wheel or powder coat it, whatever way you're doing it. So right here is a close-up of the curb rash. Now it seems kind of bad, but I've dealt with worse. So in my opinion, this isn't too bad. It's really simple. It sounds like, you know, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, I'm not sanding my wheels, that's just going to ruin them. Which, yes, it is, but just like anything, you have to ruin it in order to make it better. For example, lowrider, you have to strip it down and paint the frame and sand it down and plate this and do that. And then once you put a bunch of time, once it looks like junk, when you have it on stock wheels and stuff, no engine, it looks like it's a pile of crap. But once you're done, then you see, okay, it was worth going through that. So that's pretty much the same thing with this. Not that lowriders have anything to do with this, but it's just one of those things that you kind of have to go, you know, you have to make it ugly before you can make it nice. So what I'm using is this 3M 80 grit sandpaper. It's pretty old, but works just as fine. It's probably the most coarse one you can get, I think, besides maybe like a 36, but I don't think that that's very necessary. I think the 80 is perfect. If anything, this is maybe a little too aggressive. You could use like an orbital sander or something like that to make it a little easier, but I think that I have more control doing it by hand than with, like, let's say a machine, just because I feel like a machine you get kind of carried away and you start nicking other stuff and leaving some low spots and stuff like that, which this can leave low spots as well, but I just prefer to do it this way. But pretty much what you do is just go back and forth like this. Obviously push a little harder, but just giving you an example, go like this and you just sand it down, and what you see is the curb rash itself, why it looks so gnarly is because all those little lines you see are low spots from the curb digging into the wheel. So pretty much what you're doing is you're just sanding the whole entire rim of the wheel down to the low spot so it looks flat, if that makes sense. So it's kind of hard to sand this down and record for you guys, so I'm just going to do it real quick and show you guys what it looks like after. But I'll give you a little before, that way you can see right here where the valve stem is, see how it looks. It's definitely not perfect, but it's way better than what it was. It's also hard to focus since it's so shiny now, just bare metal. So this little piece right here took me about 5 minutes. So obviously it's not the fastest way to do it, but it definitely is a lot cheaper than taking it to a shop. And not only that, but it's fun, in my opinion, to learn how to do stuff, and not only that, but do your own work on your cars. So just got to repeat that on the whole entire wheel. or the lip I should say, and then we can start to sand down the face. And just like that, we're all done, and we virtually have no curb brush. Now there is some spots like right here where it's just a little too deep to do anything really. I guess you could weld a little bit of aluminum in there and then sand it down, but in my opinion it's not even worth it for the amount of curb brush that is. My bad, I'm out of focus. But yeah, there is a few spots. So right here you can clearly see, so right here you can clearly see this little piece right here is just a little too far deep to try to chase out, and I could get it out, but the thing is, if I were to get this down, I would either leave a low spot right there, and if I didn't leave a low spot, then I would have to grind down the whole entire rim down to match the depth of this. So in my opinion, that little bit doesn't really matter. They're far better than what they were. You guys clearly saw what they looked like before. Now I just have to sand down the spokes and these hard to reach pieces in here, which makes it a little harder and a little more complicated on doing it on a wheel like this, but it's all good. Just gonna spend some time sanding this down, and this one is ready. Now to move on to the next ones. So as you can see, this one has curb brush from right about, I guess it starts here and then kind of just washes out over here. This is the worst part. Now this one only has it right here, whereas that wheel had it on the whole entire rim, like the whole thing. Now this one is obviously a lot cleaner, so it's going to be a lot easier. I don't know what the bottom one looks like. I didn't check. This one shouldn't be hard at all because, like I said, it's just this, and there's maybe one deep spot right, I think here, just this little piece right here, which is, other than that, this should all come right out. Now that I got all the wheels all sanded down, no more curb rash, they're prepped and ready to go. Now I'm gonna wash them thoroughly and then hit it with a tack cloth right here. And then after that, I'm just gonna get some note cards and just stick them in here. Just kind of separate the wheels a little bit, that way I don't get overspray shooting onto the bottom of the tire. And if I do get some on the tire, it doesn't really matter, it'll just wear off. But yeah, I'm just gonna be doing a quick spray over them. So I didn't sand these wheels all the way completely down to the bare metal, just because I'm gonna be painting them somewhat of a gunmetal finish again. I'm going to be using this Rust-Oleum metallic dark steel paint. And I like this one because it's pretty close to the OEM finish of these wheels, the gunmetal gray, except it has a little bit more flake. So as you can see right here, this is the OEM finish. It's more like a satin gunmetal, and this paint is what I used to paint those over there. It might be a little hard to tell since these wheels are really dirty and beat up, but right there you can see it has a lot more flake along with the rears. You can see, if I was to change up the color and use a different color, then I would sand them all the way down to bare metal and then paint them. But since I'm going to be running pretty much a similar color, I just sanded them just so the paint would stick. I did one super light coat just to get a little bit something on there, more like just a tack coat. Not really going for any coverage. But what I'm doing over here is, I think I've mentioned this in a few videos, I like to heat up some water, put my paint in there. That way it kind of builds up pressure. And then when the paint comes out, when it's hot, it comes out with pressure and it's even. So like right now I tried doing it without it, just a quick tack coat, and it was just like little balls were coming out of like wet paint. Like you can see right here, kind of just spatters everywhere, and it doesn't really give you a consistent paint job. So when you heat it up, it builds up the pressure and it just comes out like nice and consistent. This is about 3 coats of the Rust-Oleum paint. Now I'm just going to be using some Rust-Oleum clear just to finish it off. And just like that, guys, they're all done and ready to go. I just gotta let them dry, but other than that, they are good. If I wanted to get an even better result, I could wet sand them and buff them, since they do have a little bit of orange peel. But for the most part, you can see the finish came out very nice for rattle can. I've always used rattle can when painting wheels and stuff, and I've never had a problem. Curb rash is fixed. You can see right there, no curb rash. This is the one I was kind of documenting on. These are all, as you can see, curb rash is all gone. But this is the one that I was showing you guys earlier. See, there's that little nick that I couldn't get out. It was just a little too low. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. And if you guys have any questions, you guys already know what to do. DM me on Instagram or comment down in the comment section below, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. But I hope you guys learned from this and were able to take something at least from this video, and hopefully you guys can go out and buy a set of cheap wheels with some curb rash and fix them up and throw them on your car. Or maybe your buddy curb rashes wheels and you want to help them out. This is the perfect way to do it. And not only that, but it's on a budget, so that's kind of the best thing out of this. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.